Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. This is a new season. In the previous season, I talked about, I don't remember, but this time I'm going to talk a little bit about culture and art. And I'm also going to talk about sound engineering in future videos. But for now, this is a video about culture. This is about Latin American culture. This is what's on my mind. What is the most interesting thing about Latin American culture? I beg you to be patient with my thinking because these thoughts are slightly cloudy still. When they are clear in my head, I may do more sophisticated videos with examples and graphics and fancy things. But for now, just bear with me, please. What is the most I am Latin American, of course. I've been living in the U.S. for a little over a decade, and I am an American citizen. And Latin American culture is my culture, even living in the U.S. So what is the most interesting thing about it? The most interesting thing about Latin American culture is that there's no such thing. Latin American culture doesn't exist. Latin American is a mixture of many different cultures, not only not only different by country, but also by town. Every city is different. Every city has their own accent and so on. That is the most interesting thing in my opinion, because what that means is that we do practice diversity in the full sense of the word, racial, cultural, political, religious, etc. So we do exercise diversity of thought. Of inside every family, you're gonna find people from every race. Yes, I'm not exaggerating. Inside, let me say that again. Inside every family, you're gonna find people from every race. We are heavily mixed. So I think that's the most interesting thing about Latin American culture. And you can observe it in our music, in our food. Many of the musical instruments considered native to, for example, South America, came from Europe. And our music is heavily mixed in terms of African rhythms mixed with European instruments. And this is something I was trying to still processing, because when I think of Asian music, I think of very specific, even though Asian music has very many similarities with South American music, especially Andean from Peru. If you listen to certain Andean music from Peru, where I'm from, there are similarities with Chinese music, for example. If you listen to Peruvian folk music from the coast, you're gonna find a lot of African rhythms. We call it Afro-Peruvian music. And if you travel around South America, you're gonna find that every country has many different combinations and fusions of rhythms. And same applies to food. Same applies to racial mixes. So that is the most interesting thing about Latin America, in my opinion. And why do I mention this? Because it is very tiring sometimes. Well, not sometimes, all the time. Every time I hear Americans talking about diversity, it's cringe, because they don't practice it. They just don't practice it. They practice segregation. And they preach and preach and preach about diversity, and it's fake, and it's hypocritical. And in a way, I think they should look at us in Latin America a little bit more, because we practice something that we don't preach. We don't go around telling people what to think or who to mix with. We just practice it. We just do. And it's very annoying when you have someone who doesn't practice what they preach yell at you about diversity, or asking you to fill boxes of about your race, of your. I am so mixed. I have European, Asian. I have a great grandfather who was Chinese. I have great grandparents who were Italian. I have great grandparents from Africa, obviously from native South America as well. It's so mixed. There's what's my race? I have no idea. And you walk around any South American country, and you're gonna find people of all colors. So it's very annoying when they try to label us one thing, and then they not only not only label us, but they also preach to us what is diversity. So, all right. I'm afraid if I keep talking, I'm gonna say something I will regret. So let's leave it there. let's keep it in good humor. So now I'm gonna close this video with again, the promise is that if I get to develop these thoughts a little bit further and make it a little bit more sophisticated. What I mean is, if I can manage to make it more simple, to explain it in a better way, I may do a better video in the future with graphics and a nice voiceover and whatever, something easier to process for people. Because believe it or not, these thoughts are not easy to process, and it's not necessarily easy to say them publicly also. So that would be pending for the future, maybe, if I get to monetize the channel at one point, because otherwise it wouldn't be worth it to spend so much time working on something that is not going to have any impact on my economy. So I'm going to close this with a 1-minute commercial. I shouldn't announce it, I know. I know commercials usually go in the middle of a video in the worst moments so that people can skip it. But anyways, I'm not like that. So I'm announcing you if you want to get out. Yes. Bye. So this is a first look teaser trailer of my first movie as a director. My directorial debut as a filmmaker. What you're gonna see now, the movie is in Spanish, which is my mother language, but I have subtitles just for you. So I hope you enjoy it. For now, I'm not promoting the movies that much because it's not out yet anywhere. So I'm only promoting its existence, just putting it out there that I've made a movie. Probably somewhere in the next year it's gonna be available. We'll see. But anyway, I beg you to watch it, and if you have any comments or questions, feel free to ask me in the comments, and in the near future, I may do a video explaining a little bit more about that. So I think you're gonna get a good understanding of what I'm all about as a creative person, as a filmmaker, as an artist, because of what the movie is about, which I'm not gonna tell you. I'm just gonna let you watch the teaser trailer. The title of the movie is, this is a documentary, experimental comedy documentary. So the title is The Son of the Holy TV.
¡Abajo la televisión basura! ¡Abajo! ¡Abajo la televisión basura!
¿Exagero si digo que la televisión es un miembro más de la típica familia latinoamericana?
Lo es. No creo que exagere. Y hay algunos miembros de la familia que se han transformado en adictos. La televisión está ahí todo el tiempo. Es quien cría a los hijos. Si usted no consume televisión, al día siguiente no tiene muchas veces de qué conversar.
Entonces tú estarías en contra de la televisión basura.
¿Qué es la televisión basura?
La televisión basura es toda aquella cuyos contenidos
Son una verdadera mierda.
Querido diario, gracias a la experiencia de hacer esta película,
¡Yo no puedo ver eso!
tomé la decisión de volverme alcohólico.
Estamos jodidos.
De repente esa marcha no va a hacer que un programa salga del aire, pero esa marcha está haciendo que tú y yo conversemos del tema.
¡Abajo la televisión basura!
Oh my god. ¿Eres peruano?
Pero por supuesto.
Seguime contando.
Ok, mira, te voy a contar.